I'm finding, because, okay, full disclosure, I've always like enjoyed watching scary movies, but I've never read horror. Like, I would read the occasional Stephen King book here and there, but like as a genre, a book genre, a writing genre, I've never really read horror, anything of the horror genre, until this podcast. And what I'm finding is, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, my usual go-tos for reading is mystery, science fiction, and fantasy. And in all three of those genres, the thing that they all share in common is that the plot, the story, it's driving towards something. There's going to be an ending, and it's usually going to be a positive ending. It might be bittersweet. There's definitely in fantasy lots of tragedy along the way. Beloved characters die, all that stuff. But generally, good wins. And I like that. And I don't find that in this genre, in the horror genre.
No. Nor would I think that the expectation would be that you would.
No,
that's
but I think
part
that
of what's.
I think that also affects my ultimate, because I wouldn't say I've loved any of the books that we've read. Some I've outright I would never read that again. And others I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, it was okay. I haven't loved any of them. And I think it relates to that I'm not getting
closure.
Even that, I'm not getting what are satisfying endings to me. Because I feel like, especially now in the climate of the world that we live in, when it just seems like the bad people always come out on top and the bad people wins, and that I want to look to my reading I don't want to get that in my reading too. So I think that's also definitely, I know that colors I'm just putting that out there so that people out there take my opinions with that grain of salt, of knowing that, because I certainly don't want to take away from anyone who does love reading horror, because there are people, our friend Perla,
I like reading horror.
Loves reading horror.
It's so funny because like what you're describing in terms of like these endings that are often unsettling precisely because they're so open-ended or dark, I tend to actually like that. So for me, so much of the horror stories that I've read, it really is just capturing either a moment in time, an experience, or a particular story. And it's just like, sometimes it's just like, all you get is that window and that's it. And then that's the end. And so like the ending of Extended Stay is sort of a perfect example of that. It's like, we don't know what happens past the end of that book. It just, that's it. That's the story we get, and that's it. And then I like that. But sometimes, a lot of times I like that. In this particular story, I did not like that because I really wanted justice for Fernanda, and it didn't happen. But I mean, I see what you're saying. And that is a difference in this particular genre so far that we've read. With some books, with some books that have been mashups, horror, like horror romance or something like that, horror sci-fi, whatever. It's a little bit different. We do get a little bit more of like closure.
Yeah, I mean, what was that book? Oh, the Vampires of El Norte. I mean, that had an ending, and it, the main characters live. So
actually, it was an HEA, wasn't it?
Yeah. So definitely, not every book. But yeah. So I'm just putting that out there as we move forward. That
no, it's worth knowing, and it's also, I think it's important to.
That's the baggage I'm bringing to.
No, I get it, and I get it, and actually, I was thinking our next book, maybe we should go somewhere in a different vein, just to take a break from, because I think that's part of what my issue was at the start of this, and why I had such a hard time getting into this book when I talked about having like mental fatigue. Maybe we just need to take a break from reading horror stories that take us down that, play mental head games with us, and just try to do something that's more like, I'm going to throw this book out there.
Horror comedy, like a horror.
If we can find one, that'd be awesome. But like this isn't a Latin writer, but The Midnight Assassin, which isn't. It's a nonfiction book. It's based off of like what was thought to be like the first serial killer here in Texas. And so it's like a crime book. Maybe we read one of those. Like I would be fine reading stuff like that, I guess, because it's not quite the mental game that books like these are. And I'm mentally exhausted right now, as you said, because of everything going on in the world right now.
As lighthearted as you can be in the horror genre, something that's just a little more maybe spoofy or
I think it's why it's a good thing that we space out our book club episodes
definitely.
much, because if we were reading like this every single month, it might be too much for us. So, and I do think you have to be able to pick up other books and do some self-care. Don't Watch at Night is a Nest production hosted by me, Valerie, and Veronica. Editing by me. Music by Omar Chagor. Production support for this episode provided by Lorenzo Villarreal and Alex Street. Listen to new episodes of Don't Watch at Night every other Monday, and don't forget to give us a rate and review. It's the best way to help us grow.